Hi guys, welcome back to Over the Line Football, and today we're going to be doing our long-awaited pre-season Premier League predictions for the 2022-23 season. We were going to do a reflection on what we did last year, but we were too embarrassed by our predictions to even do it. We had I'd say that Chelsea champions is wasn't the worst shout in the world. I had an horrendous shout, but I can't remember what it was. Did I have Everton 7th and they were battling relegation, or Leeds up there, or one of them anyway? And yeah, we did pretty horrendous. So this year, hopefully, we can bounce back. So instead of doing it collectively, we've made our individual predictions, so we save hours of arguing about stuff. And then we're going to do top goal scorer, the Playmaker Award, which is the top assist, Player of the Year, and then Young Player of the Year as well towards the end. So yeah, let's get going with it. Okay, first of all, I think we should start from the bottom, right?
Of course.
And we'll do the sort of three relegation teams in order. So who have you gone for to go down, mate?
We'll start at 21st, so I've gone for Bournemouth to finish bottom of the Premier League. I don't think they've strengthened enough currently. They brought in Joe Ruffell from Blackburn, who's an average for me player in the Championship. And they've also brought in Ryan Fredericks from West Ham. Obviously, he's got Premier League experience, but for me, I don't think they've got enough to really make a challenge to stay up this season. Obviously, Scott Parker's at the helm now. He's been there for full season at Bournemouth. Just, for me, not enough. I feel like they need to get someone in who has proven about 15 goals in the Premier League. I know they got Dom Solanke up top, but he's not done it. Obviously, I know he scored a lot of goals last season. I think it was over 30 in the Championship last season. But like I said, we never see him do it in the Premier League. It's similar to Mitrovic as well. He scores loads of goals in the Championship, and then comes up to the Premier League and struggles. So for me, I've got Bournemouth bottom of the league.
Yeah, I've got, it's a flip of the coin between 20th and 19th for me, but I've gone Fulham because I've pretty much just put them in the same bracket as Watford.
Right.
Just to bounce up and then bounce back down again. So so I've gone for them there. They've obviously strengthened a little bit, but I don't know. They're just too inconsistent for me. It seems to be every year when Mitrovic comes up, he completely smashes the Championship to pieces, and then comes to the Premier League and can't hit the back of the net. So, look, I actually spoke to a Fulham fan a couple of weeks ago, and they said, look, actually, last time they were in the Premier League, Mitrovic hit 10 Premier League goals, and it don't sound a lot. So he said, but that helped us in a lot of the games. So maybe it's to do with his form and how he can sort of perform there. But it's a flip of time between 20th and 19th, which for me is Bournemouth for all the reasons Jamie have just said. They don't inspire me enough to be like, yeah, they're going to stay up. So yeah, the signings they've made not inspiring, like Jamie have said as well. So I've gone Bournemouth 19th.
No, I've gone Fulham 19th.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the flip of the coin really. They've, like I said, Mitrovic up top. Well, they brought in Andrews Pereira from Man United. That's really the only guy they brought in with Premier League experience. Obviously, Mitrovic up top, and they've got a couple of players. Obviously, got rid of Zemmo and Guisa, who for me is actually quite a good player for this level. But obviously, he's come to Napoli now. For me, so I feel they got back down again, and obviously about Yo-Yo, like Harry said about the Watford and Norwich. I feel that's going to be the same again for them two clubs.
Okay, 18th. So these are big shouts, because these are like you've just gone down. And I've gone Brentford because I don't know if there's going to be a bit of a second season syndrome with them.
Okay.
I remember we were speaking in a video last year around Christmas time, and I went, just keep an eye on them because they obviously had a really good start to life in the Premier League and then tailed off, and then they grabbed a few results towards the end of the Premier League that really kept them in it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I just feel like they're going to struggle this year. I think it's going to be close around the bottom, similar to how it was at the end of this year.
Right.
But I've just gone for Brentford to go down, and I will leave it there and just let you go with your 18th.
Yeah, I've gone for Everton. I feel like we saw towards the end of last season that they do have some quality in the squad if they've got fit players. Obviously, Dom Calloway missed a lot of the season last season due to injury. But look at what they saw pre-season. You're losing 5-0 to a MLS squad who's basically your first team. A lot of Everton fans said before the game, okay, this is our first team I expect going in this first game of the Premier League season. You've lost for Richarlison, your best player, for 50 million. You've spent nothing on James Tarkowski, bringing him in. He's a Premier League quality defender. He probably will be now your best centre half as well, which is controversial to say the least, considering the team got relegated. You signed him from. Yeah, for me, sorry Everton fans, I just don't feel like
Big call, that.
Yeah.
They've not really brought anyone in. I saw the protest outside Goodison the other day.
Uh-huh.
So they're obviously not very
I'm still
confident.
not clued up. Not clued up. Sorry, I'm still not confident on Frank Lampard being a manager in the Premier League. He didn't have a great record for me at Everton last season, but they don't know what we saw what they were like on Ancelotti, and it's pretty much kind of a similar squad in terms of maybe like one or two, like obviously with Charles and Goni was in that squad. But if Calvert-Lewin can get fired like he did under Ancelotti, then I could be completely wrong. But from what I saw last season, and like my based on what I saw last season, pre-season, already this season, especially as the MLS go 5-0, for me, I don't think they've got enough. I feel like they're relegated from the Premier League for the first time ever for me. So Everton 18th.
Okay, on to 17th. And these are like your teams that are just staying up around that area. Maybe we do 15th, 16th and 17th in like one. Because they seem to be in a big group, don't they?
Oh, we'll just do 17th now. See, we've both got the same team for 17th.
Yeah, I got Nottingham Forest to stay up. They are a team that, like, I don't know, they've got that buzz, I think, that could keep them up. You know, these teams like Leeds, when Leeds come up, I didn't think they'd go straight down because they have that buzz and that excitement of being finally back in the Premier League.
Right.
That, if anything, their fans will power them over the line in home fixtures.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a big away day for a lot of teams to go there. And they could sort of crumble. So I think they could pick up some big points at home this season, which will help them stay up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've got them staying up just over Brentford. I think it could be close. But like I say, I think that them home fixtures would be the difference. Do you agree with that, or do you have any other?
No, I just feel like actually in terms of actual squad depth, I feel like with the transfer they made actually with the signing of Tiwa.
Well, what do you make of Jesse Lingard?
I actually forgot he signed this thing until you just reminded me. I think he's a very good Premier League player. The wages for me are way too much. I'll be honest with you. I already knew he signed as a great player. To be fair, from Uni Berlin. Yeah, Uni Berlin done really well since he got promoted to the Bundesliga from Bundesliga 2, and he's been their best player. And for me, I'm quite impressed by him. They've also signed Niakate as well from FC Mainz, who once again playing in the top level in domestic leagues.
Yeah.
If you're having players playing in the top level domestic leagues, you're surely going to make some progress.
The only thing I'd say about Forest is, because I was looking at their transfers before, they seemingly signed like a whole new 11. So
Yeah.
it's just how they settle and how they gel, because obviously they had a really together team last year. I'm guessing James Garner's gone back to United and he's staying at United. I assume he's not gone back to Forest. I didn't see that.
No,
And
obviously
he was one of their best
Dean
players
Henderson's gone to Nottingham Forest. He's probably their first team goalkeeper now.
Yeah, because they lost Bryce Samba, didn't they?
Yes.
So, yeah, just the only worry I had with them is, it's a completely new team. How would they gel? We've seen teams go with that model before where they buy absolutely loads and it just hasn't worked. So, that'll be interesting
Fulham,
to see.
for example, you're right. A couple of seasons when Fulham brought everyone in, like
Yeah.
Seri, Schürrle and stuff like that, did well. But no, I see them. Like I said, they're a very established club. Like I say, they won the Champions League twice, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Not as if they're like a brand new team in the Premier League.
Mission to go like
No,
that.
I know what I'm saying. So they've got enough quality in their team now with the signings they made. Obviously, the two lads from Huddersfield, O'Brien and Toffolo. Like I said, watching the Championship that season, the thing is though, they weren't. If you asked the Huddersfield town fans last season, you'd have thought, okay, those two players will probably. The start of the season won't be too bad, but towards the end of the season you think, okay, you're doing really well, but we don't know if Toffolo and O'Brien had basically have one-off seasons in the Championship. They don't know really recuperate that in the top flight again. But Nico Williams, 18 million. Obviously, I thought it was actually a loan. I didn't realise he's actually signed Nico Williams on a permit.
Fucking deal that for Liverpool, by the way.
I know, I was literally about to say that's a lot of money on him. Yeah, I feel they got enough. I feel they'll be fine this season.
Sweet.
Just be next season. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think this season they're sweet. I think they're fine. They're staying up. Yeah, 17th.
Yeah, 16th then. I've gone Leeds United. Obviously made a few. I'm just yet to be convinced on Jesse Marsh, if I'm being completely honest. Only because, and this is, I can't claim to have watched Leeds every week because I didn't. I watched them towards the back end when they were trying to fight relegation, but I was listening to a few Leeds podcasts towards the end of the season, and their fans weren't convinced on Jesse Marsh, and he was there for a couple of months. They were like, I'm just not sure what he's come in and improved, to be completely honest. Maybe a bit unfair. He's had a full pre-season with the team now. Maybe they're more ingrained in his methods. But I'm yet to be convinced on him. And Leeds really, really struggled last year. Really struggled. We're very, very lucky to stay up, in my opinion. So I'm going to say they have another struggle season this year, but they do end up staying up purely because teams below them aren't good enough, which is why they stayed up last season, to be completely honest. And yeah, I'm going to go they stay up, but I'm going to go very, very close to relegation in 16th.
I've gone Crystal Palace for 16th. They have, under Vieira, they had patches last season where they looked really good against top teams, and then towards the teams towards the bottom of the table, they just kind of struggled and didn't really get over the line.
Yeah, they beat United, City, they beat a few, Chelsea, so yeah.
So they've got enough quality against those top teams. Obviously, Vieira's got in charge. He knows the big game mentality well for being at Arsenal and Wenger and stuff like that. But for me, they brought in Sam Johnson on a free. Obviously, he's probably their first choice keeping over Wayne Hennessy, good in Wayne Guaita, not for me, good enough. Obviously, they brought Cheek to Curry in from Lons. I'm not too clear about it. You have to let us know, Palace fans, what he's like, because I'm not 100% sure myself. If you look at the actual squad, I don't really see them having a better squad than other teams. I feel like Michael Eze probably comes to Harry really likes Michael Eze, and obviously Eze is one of the two really, really good society youngsters. And with Wilfried Zaha still at the club as well, they could be good, but I just feel like they've only just got a slightly better squad than some other teams below them, and I don't think they've got a good enough squad against teams above them, who I've predicted anyway, so I'm going for Crystal Palace 16th.
Yeah, 15th place, I've gone Southampton. Southampton, who feel like Manchester City's B team at the moment with everyone they're signing from City. They've just signed Gavin Bazunu, Romeo Lavia. They just had a £20 million bid rejected for Liam Delap. They're interested in Sammy Dozy. Interestingly, if you want a bit of insight into that, they just signed City's like technical director of like the youth academy, so it looks like it's the place to go for youth players. It always has been in the past, actually, to be fair, with the amount of quality that they have brought through down there. Again, Ralph Hasenhüttl is another manager that I feel like I rate, but I don't rate. I know that sounds bizarre. Like, I feel like he he's had patches where he's looked like a manager who could get a better job one day, and then maybe it's just I'm conditioned by the 9-0 losses, but there is times where he has just gone to bits, and it looks like. But Saints fans love him, so it must be why he's sort of stayed on as the manager. There is always a point every season where you go, ooh, Saints are down there, you know, and then they just sort of recover just at the right time. I think that's what will happen again. Right. Whether Saints fans deem that acceptable and see, well, you know what I mean, see progress. You want to see progress. As much as teams want to stay in the Premier League, you want to make progress as well.
Yeah.
You don't just want to be there every year, because eventually there will be one year where you will go down. Yeah. You want to see teams like, I don't know, like Wolves did, like Brighton are doing, where they're sort of making progress year on year. And I just don't see that at the moment with Southampton, so that's why I've gone them in 15th.
I'm going for Leeds United in 15th. A lot of the points you said previously I agree, and I think some of the signings you brought on, I thought Tyler Adams was a very smart signing.
Yep.
I watched him in the MLS and also at Leipzig as well now. I thought like he's actually a very good player. He thought he's very good in the Bundesliga for me, so I think that's quite a good signing for Leeds. Mark Rocker as well, similarly. Didn't play a lot of football for Bayern Munich, but I thought he's a very good signing. I feel like he can improve that squad. Also, they've got two huge misses with the likes of Rafinha and Calvin Phillips going for a combined 100 million, so they will have money there. And I reckon if Marsh stays on until January and he doesn't like what the squad's
Did you even think about that with Leeds, the ones they've lost? Yeah.
Yeah. So if the squad's down until the bottom of the table, and he's obviously got a lot of money there still for that Rafinha and Calvin Phillips.
Rafinha's a huge loss.
Oh, I mean,
he won them points single-handedly last season.
Sinisterra is quite a good signing from Feyenoord, the Colombian winger. He can obviously. We don't know what he's like in obviously the Premier League, but he's a smart player, quick. He's obviously got a lot of flair similar to Rafinha, but obviously we can't see what he's like.
And it was clear they missed Calvin Phillips last season. I mean, he was injured for 90% of the season, and the midfield was just in tatters. You know, I'm not saying he's the best of the best, but he obviously was really good in that system under particularly Marcelo Bielsa. That's what ended up getting in the sack, I think. Really, you know, they had a lot of injury issues last year. Patrick Bamford's going to bounce back from a year of injuries as well. You know, he's obviously a talented footballer. Did he make his England debut?
He did.
Yeah. So, look, he's there or thereabouts. Whether he's still the same player, we'll have to wait and see. 14th place, I've got Everton. I don't know why I've put them this high, to be honest. I completely agree with everything you said. I'm worried for Everton about the lack of signings, whether it forces them into moves late in the transfer window. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, at the time of recording this, it's late July, and they've not signed one player, I don't think. I can't remember them signing one player.
Tarkowski.
Well, yeah, a decent addition, but yeah, they've lost, obviously, Richarlison, a big loss for them.
Yeah.
Again, another player who won them points single-handedly last season. They look like they're managing to keep hold of Anthony Gordon, despite all the rumours around him, so that's encouraging, definitely encouraging for them. Yeah, very uninspiring. They have got a bit of quality in the squad. Goodison can be either a fortress or a poison chalice, so it depends which way that swings. You know what? Looking at it now, I don't even know why I've not put them lower, to be honest. But I'll stick with my 14th prediction.
I've gone for Brentford 14th. I feel like the signings are actually very, very good. They've made. Obviously, I'm very excited to see how Keane Lewis-Potter does in the Premier League. He's played exceptionally well for Hull. Pretty much kept them in the Championship last season. Also, Thomas Kostrowski, they brought him from Lazio, is an absolutely great goalkeeper. Is a very, very good signing. He'll probably fight with David Raya for that number 1 position. I could probably see him being that number 1 next season for them. And Aaron Hickey as well, a very good player. Linked with Arsenal for a lot of the transfer window this season. And then obviously Brentford and swooped in and got him as the top fullback. So looking at their squad, I actually do think they can beat. If they've got better squad, they've got some of the teams below them. Like I said, the Everton, for example, and Harry said, I feel like they've got some of the better players, and also as well they got Ben Mee brought in as well. Obviously, he was on the sideline a bit last season for Burnley, but I still nevertheless think he's a great centre half, and he could probably be very much a starting player for them this season.
Do you know if they'd have got Eriksen over United, I'd have kept him up. I think Eriksen gave them that boost last season. From January onwards, they were really, really stagnating. I mean, badly. I mean, when they lost quite badly at this. I think it was at the Etihad, and they seemed to pretty much stagnate from then on. They look really, really uninspiring. And I think Eriksen gave him that boost. So now he's not there, and he's chose to go to United. I don't know, but yeah, no, I completely agree. And I've gone for Palace in 13th. I might as well go first considering you've already put him down there. I just like Patrick Vieira. I think he's done really well. There's obviously they released before last season like 15, 16 players, and they had to do a pretty big rebuild. And obviously that's an incredibly difficult job for such a young manager to do. And I think he handled it really well. He's got the core nucleus there, I think, of a really good squad, a few talented youngsters, and obviously losing Conor Gallagher, it looks like he's going to stay at Chelsea and try and fight for his place, is a big loss for him. He's just his energy, if anything, let alone his quality. But I think there is players in that squad, like you said. I love Michael Olise, and I think obviously Eze had a pretty bad injury last season, so it'd be interesting to see how he comes back as well. But I think he's a very steady manager and picks up results here and there. So I think it depends what you count as like a mid-table position from what to what. I count mid-table as like 10th to 13th. So I think they get in them spots, and I've gone Palace in 13th.
I've gone for Brighton in 13th.
I see. This is surprised with this Brighton this low.
We saw last season they had patches of basically they didn't lose. I think about 10 games towards the start of the season, and all of a sudden they didn't win in like 10, and so they are very stagnated in terms of their form. Obviously they've made 2 signings that from like young age. Some of them, Julian Seska for Liverpool, I think is Paraguay. I think that is. Don't know much about it. They also brought in Simon Agadara from a Danish side. All young players, but they brought in players like this before, like McAllister they brought in, and also Trossard, who are known around basically teams in the Premier League, and they've obviously performed really well now. Well, I do Mark Cucurella quite well from obviously Getafe, and I saw he's a very good player. He managed to get him into European football, so I was quite surprised he actually signed from the first place. So I'm not surprised Man City are trying to sign him now. I do feel like Cucurella will stay at Brighton this season as well. I don't think he'll leave. But I still think they'll probably stay where they are. Obviously, Bissouma's a big miss for them leaving, going to Spurs. He's probably their best centre mid for me. Yeah, I do feel like the summer signings they've made now are going for more youngsters rather than experience, and I do feel like that could be possibly a problem with a lot of youngsters in the team. Obviously, not a lot of experience. They've been in the Premier League for like 4 years now. I think they have 4 or 5 seasons they've been in the Premier League now, so they've been there for a long time. I feel like if they need a bit of old heads in the change rooms, I feel like constantly signing these youngsters. I know Graham Potter likes the kind of football he does in terms of bringing young players in and playing with them, but if they get a few losses in a row, again, maybe towards the start of the season, it could be a confidence down the young lads, I feel like.
Okay.
That's where they are.
We're on 12 now, aren't we? Is it 12?
Yes.
12. I've gone Wolverhampton Wanderers. A very, very, very good season last season. Under new management, a pretty much unknown squad, I would say. And they were, right up until the last couple of game weeks fighting for a European spot, whether that was Conference League or Europa League. They had a tough run of fixtures towards the end that pretty much threw them out of it. Bruno Lage has come in and I think surprised everyone with how good he is. And I think they're a good team. I think they're consistent enough to, not even think about going towards the bottom ends of the Premier League. Very good against the sort of bottom 10 I would say.
Right.
So I've just sort of chucked them in that mid-table position purely for the quality of like the top 7 or 8. I think they'll be around there, and I did a lot of swapping about, but I just settled with Wolves in 12 purely because of that.
I've gone for Southampton in 12. A lot of stuff what you said about Southampton and Raffles and Tuchel, I still feel it's changed to me how you can have a manager who's lost 9-0 twice and still win a job. Obviously, we discussed this last season as well. Him. Well, I feel like he plays. It might sound weird saying this. He does play very similar in terms of philosophy ways to Jurgen Klopp. He did that in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
He can play. He has better players, a lot of good football. Obviously, he's signing like Bazunu and Lever from Man City.
Shame they couldn't get. They've not been able to get Broja back. Shame.
Yeah. Obviously, they brought in Jota rebuild over from Rangers, who.
Yeah, good signing actually.
Good signing. Obviously, squad depth, but with Che Adams up top. But they've got a bit of forward line now. But yeah, I don't see them.
Where does the goals come from?
Well, this is the thing. That's why I don't see them progressing. I feel like they've got better squads than the teams below them. That's why I put them as where they are. So I've gone for Southampton 12.
Okay, 11th. I've gone with Aston Villa. It felt bizarre Villa's season last year because obviously they had an awful start, and then Dean Smith got sacked. They brought Gerrard in, and as much as like Gerrard has come in and done okay, they didn't really pull up any trees when you really look on the face of it. And I think Gerrard would agree. They should have done a lot better than they did last season with the squad that they had, with the signings that they made. You know, they got a lot of money from the Jack Grealish sale. They spent it on the likes of Liam Bailey, Emi Buendia, you know, them sort of players, and none of them really kicked on. Coutinho came in and had a sort of impact, but not as big as you'd expect, really. And obviously they've now signed him on a permanent deal. Yeah, Villa, again, it's hard for me to discuss this mid-range because everyone just feels the same for me. I just think they're in there with Wolves. I think they've got enough quality in and around the squad. You know, Watkins and McGinn, 2 very, very good players. And I think they will just do enough against the bottom 10 to sort of stay in that mix towards the mid-table. But obviously Gerrard will want to kick on, so I'm really interested to see how he does this season and how that team does.
I've gone for Wolves 11 with pretty much exactly what you're agreeing with. I feel like they shocked me last season. I actually put them towards near the bottom half of the Premier League table last season. I didn't feel like, with the loss of Nuno, I thought they were going to struggle, but obviously Bruno Lage has come in and done a really good job.
Yeah.
They've already brought in Nathan Collins this year from Burnley. Obviously they brought in Hwang Hee-chan as well, the permanent now rather than a loan deal from Leipzig. Yeah, I was quite shocked personally to see them where they were last season. With obviously Jota going towards the end of last season as well, not last season, season before, and it was always a big miss, and saw how well he played for Liverpool last season. Yeah, I feel like that 11th is good enough for them. I don't see them really hitting the heights that they've done the past couple of years for me. Yeah, nothing much to say really. Wolves 11th for me.
In 10th I've gone Brighton. Not really much to add on Brighton. We discussed him pretty well. I'm just a massive Graham Potter fan, to be completely honest. I think he's a top manager. I think he's done so well and been so underrated with the squad that he's had to consistently finish in the sort of mid-table area with that team and play the football he does. He doesn't grind results. He plays expansive football. He doesn't cower from the big teams, and he tries to play them at their own game. And you know, I give him massive respect for that, because I think all in all they've got a very average squad but constantly punch above their weight, and I think they'll do the same this season as long as he's in charge. So I've gone 10th.
I've gone for Leicester 10th. I'm actually quite worried about Leicester. They've obviously every single season now since they won the Premier League they've gone down in places. I saw them struggle quite a bit last season. I thought they'd be higher than they were last season for me. Leicester, obviously just finished outside the European spots by quite a margin, to be very off in the end. We've seen Brendan Rodgers lose Jimmy Vardy for a long period of time. It's always a problem when you rely on one striker to get your goals. For me, yeah, I just feel like there's nothing. I just got hard to talk about them because they've got really good players like Vardy. Madison's obviously world class, and Didi as well is very good.
Tielemans looks like he's staying about finally.
Exactly. So I feel like they'll stay in that mid-table spot, but I don't really know where they were last season, because they should have been a lot higher up. And I just feel like Brendan Rodgers has got slightly frustrated with some of the players, and he hasn't brought anyone in still.
Bit of a burnout. I mean, the season before they missed out on Champions League on the final day, didn't they?
Against the Chelsea, I think it was, yeah.
So, a bit of burnout maybe. I might as well just say I've got them ninth now.
Mm-hmm.
For the exact same reasons, to be honest. I've got not much to add on that. I don't know who you've got ninth.
Oh, sorry, Aston Villa, I've got ninth. I feel like Gerrard in the second Premier League season should do a lot better. Obviously, he's not got Coutinho on a permanent deal now as well. He's brought in also Diego Carlos from Sevilla. He's a very, very good centre half. He'd probably be the best centre half now. He should get it above Tyramik. I'll say that anyway.
He won't though. He'll play alongside him, won't he?
Yeah. So they brought him in. I feel like he'll do hopefully a good job this season. I'm not a fan of Tyrone Mings, so anyone against Tyrone Mings for me. I feel like hopefully second season Gerrard now knows his best squad now. I think. They've done good business. I feel like they obviously got rid of Matt Targett for a bit of money to Newcastle as well now. So I don't know very much to say about Aston Villa. I think I've got a very good squad now. I feel like they should be just missing out on that European spots, but I don't see why they won't challenge for it this season. They've got good enough players for it. Also, Danny Ings, Ollie Watkins are very good players. Philip Coutinho as well. Obviously, played at a higher level and won the Champions League with Bayern Munich, didn't he? As well. So we saw what he's like for Liverpool too. So if he can, we say this about a lot of players, but if he can play to his prime like he done previously, I don't see why he can't boost them to a higher level. But yeah, I've gone Aston Villa ninth.
I'm going to do my 7th and 8th together because I think, again, these two teams are interchangeable. I've got Newcastle 8th and West Ham 7th, but I think they're interchangeable. Obviously, Newcastle is a weird one because I think they're really hard to judge. They were, I think, ended up like 2nd or 3rd on the form table in 2022, since the January transfer window. So Eddie Howe did a really good job considering they were very, very close to being pretty much doomed to relegation at one point. They've made obviously good additions. They have now got a really good nucleus of a competitive squad. I've seen some absolutely wild shouts on where they finish, and maybe they do surprise me and start challenging for Europe, but I think they'll be challenging for the lower ends of the Conference League or maybe at a push Europa League. I just don't think they're ready to break into that top 6 this season personally. And West Ham seems to always be up there. There is going to be a season where I think Moyes burns out with that West Ham team. I just don't think it'll be this season. I still think they've got a really good team there. They've so far managed to keep hold of Declan Rice, which is obviously massive for them. They have got a good squad. They've got a good team. They've got attacking flair up front. They're bringing in that Skamaka, who looks a really, really good striker. And I've just got them to just pip Newcastle for, is that the conference, the 7th place? I think it is, isn't it? So yeah, I've just gone for them to pimp Newcastle for that. So
I've gone as actually more as you. I've got Newcastle 8th, West Ham 7th as well. I feel like smart signs Newcastle with Botman and Pope.
Yeah,
Pope's obviously a very good goalkeeper. We've seen what he's been in the Premier League for years, and obviously spent Botman done very well in Lille. Also played Champions League last season, and obviously won the league with Lille with a squad that beat PSG in the day. So with Neymar and Mbappe.
Yep.
With West Ham, obviously Skamaka is a very, very exciting player. He's the more striker now. Obviously, he didn't get in the Euro squad, but we saw him in the World Cup qualification and when he played us recently. For Italy, did really well. If Mick Antonio can keep fit as well and keep the consistency like he did towards the start of the season, obviously he's kind of tailored off towards the end of last season in terms of his form. I feel like he can make a difference as well. I'm not really too clued up on the centre half they brought in from Stade Rennais. 31 million spent on him as well, so I'm not actually pretty sure what he's like. There's a Nayef Aguerd, so he might surprise me. I'm not
he just
sure.
got injured for a couple of months, by the way.
So he's not going to be here for a while then, is he?
Yeah.
But I agree with the point she said. I feel like Moyes, if he can carry on doing well at West Ham, then I don't see why the season after he might not be able to challenge. I mean, there was a point last season where they looked like he'd get Champions League at some point, West Ham.
Yeah, that's what they want. That's what their aim is, isn't it?
And for me,
I just think the quality of the top 6 is too much, really. And the top 6 will return to the proper top 6. So, we might as well go on to the top 6. Yeah. Oh God, you don't know how long I spent trying to think of what order. I think the easiest for me was 1 and 2, but I've gone 6th Chelsea, and maybe this is my most controversial positioning because I think they have recruited well. They've brought in Raheem Sterling, who was their standout signing, I would say. English, one of England's, well, if not England's second best player behind Harry Kane. Proven goals in the Premier League consistently year on year. He's in the 100 club, into City's top 10 all-time goal scorers. you know, he obviously splits opinion with some people, but you know, there's no denying his output is up there with the best. They brought in Kalidou Koulibaly. They obviously lost Antonio Rudiger, which is a massive, massive loss to Real Madrid. Andreas Christensen went to Barcelona, so they're very short on centre-halves, and I assume they will bring it in. It looks like they were after Koundé, but they've missed out on him to Barcelona, who seems to be finding pocket change down the back of the sofa every week. So it'll be interesting to see who they bring in. But you know, if you listened the other day, and if you've not listened, go and listen to Tuchel's post-match press conference after they lost 4-0 to Arsenal in pre-season. Of course, we can't judge much from pre-season, but he seemed pretty angry with the team, and it wasn't just because of the performance. He said the attitude and the application, the desire to sort of play and win the game was just not there, and that's really, really concerning, considering, you know, it's a sort of fresh squad and a squad that, you know, should be gunning to win the title this season. Also, Thomas Tuchel isn't Todd Bowley's man, and this owner has been a bit more fancy than I thought he was going to be. You know, he's come in and he's made big name signings and just sort of slapped cash down and been like, yeah, this is, we want him. He's not really strategically picking out players, if you know what I mean. So it'd be interesting to see after a run of bad results whether Bowley will pull the trigger quickly. And that is my sort of underrated, unpopular opinion for the season, that Tuchel could be the first manager to be sacked. Because I think there's a lot of stock in him not being Todd Bowley's man. And I think after a run of dodgy results, the trigger could be pulled quite easily. And I think they could end up in, not free fall, but I think, you know, if they do end up like I say, I don't think they'll be able to put a consistent run of performances together to A, challenge for the title, or B, get into the top four. So I've gone Chelsea 6th.
I've gone for Erik ten Hag's Manchester United 6th. They've also brought in Martinez, Malacia, Eriksson. Players for me who, I mean, especially Malacia, I don't think he should really start for me. I feel like Telles and Shaw better than Malacia personally, so I feel like he's more of a squad player. Martinez, obviously we know that they had struggles in defence last season. People talk about his height and stuff like that, so I'm not sure how much of a difference his height will make it some of these players in the Premier League. But I know he's very quick, and I think Man United fans are just happy to see another centre half that's not Harry Maguire. Personally, I'm obviously not a Man United fan, but it just looked like to me, Eriksson obviously a smart signing. Brentford, like you said already, will be a big loss for them, because now well different towards the end of the season. Yeah, I feel like this is the season of. I don't think Man United fans have a lot of expectations this season. Obviously, Ronaldo's still, at time of recording, doesn't fancy it playing for Man United currently.
He's in talks today, isn't he, with him?
Yeah, so like I said today, he's just he's hit or miss. He wants to play for him or not. There's some players I've seen in Man United who should have done a lot better, like the likes of Rashford and Sancho. For me, they should have performed better, and if they can play at what level we've seen them play in the like Sancho and Richard Dortmund and like Rashford we've seen in previous seasons, especially England of Rashford as well, they can play at their highest level, and obviously they can pretty much easily get Champions League football. And obviously Anthony Martial to come back as well. He looks to be okay pre-season too. So
a bit sceptical with Anthony Martial, I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. But yeah, I feel like it's just a season of just give it a go basically for Man United. I think Man United fans might feel the same. Might not towards Christmas, they might be towards top four at Christmas time, think no, we're going to win the league now and go for the title. But for me, I feel like the expectation for the season should be top four, be good if they can get it, but because they haven't got top four this season, I feel like because they're not playing Champions League this season, I feel like they should be trying out players to see if they're ready for next season for like the young players and stuff. So yeah, I've got Man United 6th.
Right, yeah, I've got Man United 5th. I agree with everything you just said. Really, I think Man United fans have got to have patience this year. They're not going to be challenging up there. For me, they could prove me wrong. I mean, football's weird. Like, they could be challenging for the title, they could, but I just don't think they will. I think the big difference between this season and last season is they have got a good gaffer in charge. He's a lad who's shown really good potential as a manager, has certain systems in place. He's not conditioned on United DNA. You know, he wants to play his own way. He's got this sort of mixture of the Cruyff, Ajax, and he plays attacking football, but he's very pragmatic as well. He's got a nice mixture of both. And you know, there's no stock in pre-season. I don't want to take any of that into account. I think he's going to have them consistent enough to be competitive for the top four. I just think he'll miss out and that's the reason I've got them. And I don't think you can underrate the situation with Ronaldo. If Ronaldo goes, I mean, that was, as much as it was a bad signing for Man United, he scored 15, 16 Premier League goals last season. Won them countless games, and they ended up finished in 5th again last season. But very uninspiring. I mean, the teams around them didn't want it in the end. I mean, I know Tottenham scraped it, but even they lost some dreadful games, and then Arsenal completely blew it towards the end of the season. So I've gone.
Be interesting to see as well what they're like with Paul Pogba, without Paul Pogba this season. Obviously, we sure
he didn't play last season anyway.
But in terms of not actually being the squad and around
Frankie de Jong, I mean, that man is desperate to stay at Barcelona. He doesn't want to go to Man United.
I've taken account he's not signing from now. That's what I've got.
They should move on. They really should move on to other targets. Whether what's been said in the press is completely different to reality, it wouldn't shock me. But yeah, let's go on to the top 4.
I've gone for 5th.
Sorry, yeah, go on. You're 5th.
Sorry, that's all right. I've gone Chelsea 5th. Like Harry said already, the signings of Sterling and Koulibaly are 2 very, very world class signings. I think they just put all their eggs in Lukaku last season, and now he's just going back on loan.
Under the radar, by the way.
Him just going back on loan to Inter Milan.
100 million quid, Jamie. That's mental.
90, I think it was 100. Yeah, it's 100 million.
It's close to 100 million.
I predicted myself for them to win the Premier League last season, and I thought they had enough quality to do so. Considering why they won the Champions League the year before, they've got a lot. They've got a very, very good squad, especially some of the players they've got with Reece James. Obviously, if he can keep fit, he's world class. Conor Gallagher now and Mason Mount all very good at signing centre midfields at the club. Timo Werner, if he can get 15 goals and have a very good season in Premier League, is still a mystery to me. Be interesting to see where Sterling plays in the team. Is a winger or is a number 9? We don't know. Obviously, Koulibaly, I think I'll just slot in for Rudiger in terms of the centre halves. But I feel like they will just miss out. Like I see what you're saying about Tuchel possibly getting sacked, but I feel like under the new owner, I think the new owner himself, like, okay, I'm going to give it a go if I'm not sure what to expect this season.
I mean, they had a stinker of a season last season. I mean, it went really under the radar, losing in 2 finals. They were top by Christmas, I think, or they were top around Christmas, and then they just completely imploded. They lost to Madrid in the Champions League. Okay, Madrid went on to win it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about Chelsea, but that is my feeling. But I still think they could be competitive. One team I think who could be competitive as well is my 4th choice, and that's Tottenham. Tottenham and Arsenal are in the same boat for me, so I might as well have got Arsenal 3rd, Tottenham 4th. I'm so sceptical to throw Tottenham in there because they just, and I know they've made great signings. Perisic, Richarlison, bit hit and miss for me, but the signings they have made are obviously going to elevate them to a new level. They've got obviously a coach who knows how to win. Equally, they've got a coach that knows how to implode when things don't go his way. So it can go either way for me, and I know a lot of people are backing them to sort of challenge for the title, and I've got no reason to doubt that they will. But to sort of tamper them expectations, I've put them 4th, and then Arsenal 3rd. Recruited well, obviously Alexander Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, Fabio Vieira, is that how you say his name? And then obviously they're looking at a few more as well. Arteta's got a good nucleus there. Equally with Arsenal, they could implode and finish 6th. So I think it's impossible to call with them, to be completely honest. But I'm going to say they finish 3rd purely because of the teams around them.
As I say, my 4th and 3rd. Now I've gone for Arsenal 4th. We saw, I mean, towards the start of last season, they didn't win the game in ages, and then wanted Arteta out the door straight away.
Lost the first 3 with Bottom.
All of a sudden, they turned the tide around and managed to just miss out on European football, Champions League football.
They should have been Champions League last year. Yeah, they were shocking.
I think Lacazette and Aubameyang going now is basically gives the new forward line a new lease of life. I think Gabriel Jesus is very much a world-class striker. He can, if he wants to, get 20 goals in the Premier League season and truly fire them to top 4 without a shadow of a doubt. Zinchenko, for me, I don't know what his best position is. I don't even want to play him centre mid because he plays centre mid for Ukraine when he plays on national duty, because they've got Kieran Tierney could be a left back for them, so I don't even want to battle with them. John's at left back. Yeah. Fabio Vieira, I'm not clued up on. They spent 31 million on the lad. Probably sounds, but I don't know too much about him. So Arsenal fans, you have to let us know what he's like. Do you know about Fabio Vieira?
No, not much. All I know is he's injured at the moment.
There we go then. So yeah, like I said, they've got actually quite a good squad. Look at some of the players they've got there. It's like
They've
Jesus
got
as well.
a really good young squad with Saka and Emile Smith Rowe.
They could beat teams by like 5-6-0 if they want to with their forward line this season. And Nketiah coming through, and Saka obviously hopefully now getting more confidence the more he plays. Yeah. But for me, I've seen him finishing fourth, and I might as well say my third.
I just want to say just one last thing. I think they were missing a striker badly last season.
Right.
Obviously Aubameyang went in January.
Yeah.
And then Lacazette was just so poor. I think if they had a proper number 9, they would have finished in the top 4. So I think Jesus could be the final piece of the jigsaw. I don't want to say that because that means winning the title. But, to get them into the top 4, I think he could be the...
That's it, my third piece. I think Liverpool for the first third.
That's a big call, that.
Every single season I always doubt them. Not doubt them, not in that way, and I feel like they're not going to win the league. I always finish like they're not going to win the league and finish like third or fourth, but for me, Darwin Núñez is nowhere near as good as Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane is a massive miss for Liverpool. He made so much for Liverpool. He scored over 100 Premier League goals now. He has. Obviously, he's moving on to Bayern Munich now, and will do very well for Bayern Munich this season. But you heard the Benfica the president come out himself saying we've got a massive steal here, getting that money for Darwin Núñez from Liverpool. There's no absolute doubt with the quality they've got in the Liverpool squad. I mean, I'm just not 100% sure that the signing of Sadio Mane being replaced by Darwin Núñez is enough for me to win the league. I mean, the teams around them for me have signed better players. I feel like Liverpool third. They could win the league, and I wouldn't be shocked if they win the league. They've got absolutely enough quality players, and they've got players who won the Premier League. I mean, Mohamed Salah can win the Premier League. We don't want to. We saw what he's like in the past couple of seasons when he's been there. But yeah, I just feel like because Sadio Mane is a huge miss for them. I feel like they will not win the Premier League for me, and I feel like they will get third position. But the third to fourth, or first, not first, I think I've got a clear winner for first, but I think the second, fourth to fifth and sixth, like you said, could be any order for me. But I feel like Liverpool will get third position.
Okay. Well, we might as well both do our top 2 then. Do you want to do your second first, considering it's already gone?
Yeah, so I've gone for Spurs second. I actually do think this year they will actually get a second position, and I feel like Conte will actually tell lads, listen, it's going to be one of your only chances now for a lot of the lads. I feel like Kane and Son are getting to the point now. I think this season they'll be at their pride, but I feel like next season after they're going to start going downhill. I feel like they might look at themselves thinking, okay, we actually need to make a challenge this season. I feel like this is the best squad, personally for me, I've ever seen Spurs have. Perisic, Richarlison, Basuma, Jed Spence all bringing in. Like Son, Harry Kane in that squad already. Like I said, Kulusevski and who's the other they brought in the other centre mid? What's his name? From Juventus as well. Bentancur, he's obviously a very good centre mid as well. Like I said, I feel like they've got the best. I feel like they've got the best squad they've ever had, and for me, I feel like they will be very much close.
Do you think the back line's good enough? For the centre halves and the goalie. Reece, Dyer and Romero.
This is what I'm saying to you.
Romero looked okay, didn't it?
This is what I'm saying to you about. I feel like this is the last season now for some of the players to actually make a difference. Like I said, I feel like the same about Son, Kane, and Reece. I felt this is the last season. I think Conte might be saying, listen, if you want to win the Premier League or win some silverware, this is going to be the last season. I think you're going to do it, and I feel like it's going to motivate those guys to go, okay, right, let's get our shit together and make a difference. Obviously, I didn't realise he signed that long lay from Barcelona as well on loan, so he's actually quite a good centre.
That's a good point. I completely forgot about that too. Yeah. It's a good sign. As long as he plays with Romero and not Dyer, I just don't rate Dyer. So.
But I feel like I said, if they've really wanted to, there's some of the players in that team. I mean, Harry Kane and Son scored. They've got the most goals. They've got between them. They've got the best partnership in the Premier League history in terms of feeding off to each other. So, yeah, I don't want to read it to my point or not. Again, it's probably the best squad they've ever had. Richarlison coming in. I'm not really sure where Richarlison will play. He'll probably be that other wing spot, but with Perisic, I think he plays fullback now, doesn't he, Perisic? But Kulusevski played so well last season, I don't think he should drop Kulusevski for me personally. But it's hard to say where Richarlison. I think Richarlison will like that, you know what kind of guy he's like. But yeah, top and second for me.
Yeah, I've gone Liverpool second, and just for 2 names. The top 2 for 2 names: Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp. Don't think there's a better 2 managers in Europe, and I don't think this monopoly of Liverpool and City first and second changes unless one of them leaves or both of them leave.
Okay.
I think they're just ridiculously consistent at making their teams challenge up there every single season. I mean, really. Maybe looking from a blue tinted specs, City have won it 4 out of the last 5, so maybe it's just Pep. but that'd be pretty unfair on Klopp and what he's achieved, especially in the domestic, especially on the European front, actually in the Champions League. Really, I just think their ability, like I said, to keep their team motivated going year on year is just what makes them the best. They've both strengthened. Look, can you remember a signing for Liverpool that hasn't really worked out or has been a complete and utter failure? I'm hesitant to judge Darwin Núñez. Obviously, he scored. Everyone was mocking him for not scoring in the first two, and then he scored 4, and everyone was like, "Well, it's only pre-season." So, look, he's obviously going to get the best out of him. Klopp. They don't spend whatever they spent on him if they don't think he was a good enough striker. I completely agree. Sadio Mane is a massive loss, but equally signing Mohamed Salah onto a new contract is also is a massive, massive, massive win for them. I think they're going to be up there again this season. I think it'll be them two in the end that pull away and fight for the title again. I'll go Liverpool second, and then we've both gone for something that I've never done before, actually. I've gone for Manchester City first, and Jamie's done the same. A new look Manchester City team, really. Letting go of Raheem Sterling, Fernandinho left on a free transfer, Gabriel Jesus, Alexander Zinchenko. There was obviously murmurs of Nathan Ake going. He looks like he's staying about now. Bernardo Silva the same, but if Barcelona afford to pay for that, then you literally need to go round to their offices and see what's going on. There's a freshness about City this season, which is why I put them top. It feels like there's new energy. I think obviously the signing of Erling Haaland is City's most high profile signing they've ever made. To get him for 51 million quid is nothing less than a bargain. And they've got players around there that'll feed him. I mean, De Bruyne aside, Grealish looks like he's coming back with a point to prove. They've got an exciting young winger, striker in Julian Alvarez coming in, who looks exciting. Riyad Mahrez just signed a new contract. He's obviously consistent enough to get you 20 Premier League goals. There's a freshness about the City squad that I see them being too consistent for the rest. And the games that City struggled in last season, you would say if a striker was there they'd win, and now they have got one of, if not the best striker in Europe. So I've gone for City top, and that's something I've never done, and purely because I think they're consistent enough. I didn't even mention Calvin Phillips coming in to replace Fernandinho as well. Showed his stuff with England, has made that big step up. Obviously a bit of an unknown to see how he performs as well. I don't know if you agree with all of that, but that's sort of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of hard to say to a side with Erling Haaland up top that I'm not going to win the league, obviously.
He stays fit, of course.
Yeah, obviously, his time in Germany against the Bayern Munich side was obviously difficult, considering the players around him for Borussia Dortmund weren't at the level that Man City are now. They've signed players like for like. Obviously, they've got rid of Zinchenko. I feel like maybe might have thought, but that's why now you're with Cucurella.
Yeah, like with Marc Cucurella out there. So.
But I think Calvin Phillips slots in for Fernandinho, Haaland slots in for Jesus, Alvarez slots in for Sterling. I don't really see much of an issue with them winning the league. I don't see why you can't get 100 points again as well. For me, it might sound a bit shock to you, but I feel like if I think your team on the bench as well could probably finish top 4 personally for me. I think your squad depth's that good.
See, this is the thing, right? The squad depth thing's a myth because City have got one of the smallest squads in the Premier League. They might have strength in depth. They don't have squad depth. They might have a second 11 that's good enough, but
that's what I mean by that second 11. I feel like the second 11 could get the top 4 for me. But it's up to you. It doesn't matter. It's up to you what your second 11 will be as well. Obviously, Man City players in their second season at Man City for me always do better. Obviously, Jack Grealish coming to a second season at Man City, I think he'll do a lot better this season. Where he'll play in the squad is always hard now. With obviously Julian Alvarez on the wing, you've got Mahrez. There's just so many good players.
Foden could have a big season this season.
So you've got so many good players at Man City this season. I can see making a difference. We saw what he's like at the international stage and previously at Villa. That's why obviously he signed for £100 million. Man City win the league for me. I don't see any issue why they won't, unless it's perhaps a massive injury. But we saw what the past season, what Man City have been like without a striker anyway. And there's no need for you to panic. Well, they might not panic if Haaland gets injured, but they might not win as high or as much by many goals as you do. But I absolutely no doubt in my mind that Man City will win the league this season. Right, we're coming up to an hour, so let's go on to the actual awards, and we'll fly through these. We've got 4: Golden Boot, Playmaker, Player of the Year, and Young Player of the Year. Golden Boot, I've gone really boring and gone Harry Kane.
I expect a big season from Harry Kane. I might as well say now I think he'll win Player of the Year as well, purely for the amount of goals he'll score. Because, you know, he's obviously scored like 30 plus for Tottenham in the past when they've not even finished in the top 4. So I think there's going to be a big season for Harry Kane this year. I was tempted to put him for the Playmaker as well, award to be honest. Like he did last season, he won both, didn't he? Mm-hmm. I think he's going to score a lot of goals. And obviously, of course, I was tempted not to go with Erling Haaland, sorry. Like last season, that's the only thing I got right last season, wasn't it? Salah as top goal scorer. So
I don't want to tell you mine.
Yeah, well, certain £100 million man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've gone Harry Kane. You've gone.
I've gone Erling Haaland to win 3 awards. I've gone for Erling Haaland to win Golden Boot, Player of the Year, and Young Player of the Year. It is up to Haaland himself if he wants to perform at a high level.
It's up to him.
It is. I feel like it's up to him if he wants to basically just play really well. Then this is going to be the best player in the league. I feel like if him at his prime beats, if Erling Haaland plays as well as he could, he's the best player in the league for me. And for the Playmaker award, I've gone for Heung-min Son.
Not that show.
I feel like Spurs will be second this season. They're all going to get their ass in together. I feel like, okay, we've got a proper chance this season. You create loads of chances with the players around him, like I said, Richarlison, Kane, Kulusevski, will be a big difference. I was tempted to go for, I'll be honest, Young Player of the Year, Joe Galhart. I thought he's going to have a big season for Leeds this season. I didn't speak about that a bit earlier. I feel like he's going to have a big season for Leeds this season. He obviously saw what he's like towards the end of last season. I feel like he's a very exciting player. I could see him. Obviously, he might not sound good for Leeds, but I could see him probably possibly moving on next season if he does. I feel like he'll get probably over 10 goals this season. I think Joe Galhart will get for Leeds. I think that probably happened to keep up, to be fair. But anyway, I've gone for Erling Haaland, Young Player of the Year.
Right, so. And I've gone Playmaker award Trent Alexander-Arnold. He was close last season, and I think the way he crosses the ball and the positions he takes up will be perfect for Darwin Núñez, you know, in the air. So I've gone for him, but it was a flip of a coin between him and Kevin De Bruyne for me. Young Player of the Year, I wanted to go different because we looked at the qualifications and it's changed. It used to be 23, we're down to 21 now. But if you're 21 or younger, on the 1st of July you're eligible. So Erling Haaland's birthday was like 4 days ago, so he's eligible even though he's now 22. So if he has a banging season, he'll just win it. But I've gone for Michael Olise from Crystal Palace because if Haaland doesn't get involved in that sort of, he will, won't he? Saka looks like the lad who's more likely to win it automatically if he has a decent season. But I'm really, really impressed with Michael Olise. I think he's a really good player. I think he's a player who can move on to a big club one day. And I think he could have a really, really big breakthrough year with Crystal Palace. Tricky player, can take the spot of Conor Gallagher this season and really, really shine. So I've gone with him there, and that completes our list. So let us know what you think in the comments and just shout at us, and then I assume we'll come back to this in May. And I don't know, maybe Haaland got injured and City finished 15th.
Maybe Everton have got European football like an absolute mug. We don't know, do we? Could see Bournemouth mid-table. I don't know.
Which is probably going to be the case. That's what happens. Yeah. There's always surprise. I mean, like we said in the last one, pretty sure I had like Everton up there for like challenging for European spots or whatever, or someone or Leeds, I think, and they end up battling relegation. So yeah. So let us know what you think in the comments, and we will see you on the next video. See you later.